Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. How are you all today? How do you think the two boys are? Now they have forgotten, they are having a good time playing. Many years back, when Sui Zhu and Huang Ke, I think you all were not married yet, Sui Zhu brought his nephew along, visited me in the Buddhist library when I was staying there. And I recall we were seated at the stone desk, the coffee shop desk on the ground floor in the art gallery. And somehow the little boy, what's his name again? Ryan. So that little boy, his nephew, usually kids are quite okay with me. But that day when I asked Ryan to come and sit with us, he just firmly refused. Do you remember? You can't remember, huh? So while Huang Ke and Sui Zhu came and sat down with me at the round table, Ryan just kept in the distance and sat on the floor, kicking up a tantrum, and then struggling by himself. No one was there, crying. And so Sui Zhu and Huang Ke, they were a bit apprehensive. So when I sat down, they were like, then Huang Ke offered to go and tend to Ryan. And I said, no, just sit down. And they look at each other, look at me, then, okay, Shifu. So they sat down. And when the kids saw the two of them sitting down, not paying him any attention, he broke up into a bigger tantrum, and he was like, yeah. So then after a short while, Huang Ke, she was not a mother yet, but that, feminine mother intuition, in a way it's compassion. Yeah? We hear someone crying, you feel, you want to do something for the child. So she offered to, stand up and attend to the child while Sui Zhu can have a chat with me. Yeah. So I told them, no, sit down, don't, leave him alone. And this is what I told them. I said, just give the child 5 minutes at most. Yeah. At most, Ryan will cry for 5 minutes. Yeah. Tops. He will stop. And they were a bit like, okay, Sifu say so ma, So they respectfully just sit down and we just had our chat. But occasionally I could see that the two of them were still very concerned, just turn around. And then Ryan continuing to struggle and cry. Not one of them, these are their children. Ryan is his nephew. Yeah. So Ryan continued to and then after maybe about 1-2 minutes, not even 5, Ryan went from to and I could from where I was sitting, I could literally see Ryan going and then looking around. It was hilarious scene. It was I could see clearly, like, he was really just even at that age, knowingly or unknowingly, maybe he don't have the full that kind of thought process, Maybe at that age, he may not have the full thought process of an adult where he plan and think and try to manipulate. Yeah. But at that age, even at that age, he has already learned that if he make enough noise, most of the time, he will get his way. And so while he did that for 1/2 minutes, he was like, wait a minute, this is not working out. So as he's like, it's like, okay, 没戏唱了. And so eventually he stopped. And he started to just make baby sound, by himself and playing with his fingers and whatever. Yeah. Now it doesn't always work, okay? Don't just try this, on all kids and then Yeah, your kid starts smashing his head on against the wall, and then, no. Shifu said, leave the child alone. But there, our kid is smashing against the... Yeah. From this and many other families, I have observed time and again this pattern. Yeah. And it's not just about kids, Don't be mistaken that this is about kids. It's about us, all of us, sentient beings. We like things our way. And when we don't get things our way, we kick up a ruckus. We'll kick up a fuss. And if by kicking up a fuss we get what we want, without going for a class, without anybody saying anything, we learn something. Oh, next time if I want something, I'll kick up a fuss. It's the same thing when you call up any of the telco, and if you speak nicely, hi, can I change my plan? Can you waive the charges? And they don't, you kick up a fuss. And if you kick up a fuss and you manage to get your charges waived, what do you learn? The next time, kick up a fuss first. But this is not just a lesson about how you can waive off your credit card, bill charges, the late fee charges. No, it's not just about that. It's not just about dollars and cents. In fact, it is not about that. Yeah, it's about how we have this tendency. Yeah, we have this tendency to want things our way. No crime and shame in that, really. Yeah, we all want that. Yeah. The trouble is, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't have things your way. Yeah. If you can have things your way, why not? Yeah. You want to come to SGC and you can come, why not to come? Yeah. But sometimes you can't. Yeah. You want to buy the clothes you want to wear. You want to spend your afternoon doing whatever you want to do. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes you can't. From a young age, when our child have to go to school, they don't want to go to school. Or maybe let's just look at ourselves. A show of hands, how many of you want to go to school when you were a kid? Yeah, I thought so. None of us. Or maybe you can't remember. Maybe you might think, no, I can't quite remember, but I suspect I'm one of those kids who wanted to go to school. Yeah. Just go to nursery school, kindergarten or P1, and you'll see all the kids screaming and shouting, like, dragging them to jail or, Yeah. And the earlier we learn that sometimes you can't get to do what you want to do, yeah, the faster you will be able to progress, actually, not just in life, but also spiritually. Yeah, because sometimes it's not just about doing what you would like to do, but doing what you need to do. I mean, when I was much younger, I learned the word hobby in school. Yeah, and then the teacher told us, oh, hobby is what you do in your free time. Yeah, do what you enjoy doing in your free time. Yeah. Or that the teacher tells us, oh, you collect stamps, you collect matchboxes, you collect cards, collect coins. This is a hobby. Oh, okay. Swimming is a hobby, it's a sport. Oh, okay. And for the longest time, I always wonder, why is it that my parents don't have a hobby? Such boring people. Oh wait, my parents, they're not here today. Okay. Yeah, good. I can say all I want. And for the longest time, I wondered, why is it that my parents are like without a hobby? Yeah. By the time I was in my late 20s, I came to the realization that, yeah, it's not that they don't have a hobby. Okay, maybe my mom probably don't have a hobby. No, it's not that. It is that we are the hobby. The 4 kids, we are the hobby. I always wondered, why is it that I never hear my parents go out with their friends, Yeah, never once, in my life. Never. Except when we were much older, and then my mom would sometimes go to the temple with their friends. That's not going out, you know. Yeah, she'll go for a tour with the monastery. She'll go overseas to go and attend a retreat. Yeah. So I always thought my parents are so boring, you know. Yeah. Exactly. 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 The kind of sacrifice. So they didn't have a hobby because there's no other time. And we are their sole preoccupation. And of course, one could say that it is out of their love, and it is out of their love. Yeah. But if they had a choice, how about work? Yeah, my father worked for 40 over years in PUB. Yeah. And it was not simple work, you know, because the department that he was in was the Force and Service department. Yeah. For the past how many years, anytime there's a breakdown, nowadays there's barely any breakdown. But back then, when there's a thunderstorm at night, sure to have breakdown. His team will be the first responder. Yeah. And I always thought, yeah. But later on I realized, yeah, could he have just resigned and slack? Yeah, he can. But it's a choice he made. He chose to do it not because it was a fun job. It's no fun staying up at night answering phone calls from people who are screaming down your throat. But they decided, well, if that's what it takes to upkeep the family, that's what I will do. So whether you talk about material life, just to have a simple lifestyle, yeah, or spiritually to progress, it's really about making the choice to do what you need to do, not what you would like to do. And the earlier we start, like with the kids, yeah, the faster you so-called mature. Okay, let's get straight into our usual. Let's see, from the left, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Have you introduced yourself before? Yes. Tell us your name and how you got to know about this group. Yeah, introduction time.
Hi everyone, my name is Priscilla. I get to know this group through my sister, Elaine.
Where's your sister?
Hello everyone, I'm Elaine. I joined the meditation class, so this is probably the first time here.
I see. Great. Welcome. Who else is new? Let me see. The next row, season parking. Eric, please apply for season parking. Yeah. One. Next row. Second guy. Yes. Tell us your name.
Hi everyone, my name is Yong Sing and I got to know this group through Junior and Valerie's Zhongmei. Yeah.
Very good. Welcome. Who else? Then there's Jen and family. Everybody is accounted for. Let's see. Okay, let's come to the left side. First row. Jacob, you have not been around for so long. You should introduce yourself again.
After like 1 year.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jacob. I've known this group like 1 year and a half. Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't come here for like a long time.
Yeah.
To introduce myself. There's nothing else. That's my hobby.
Yeah. When are you going? What are you doing now?
I'm serving the nation now. A nice way to put it. And I found out this group through when it was back in Guangming. Yeah, which is a
Long time ago. Yeah. Welcome back. Okay, let's see. Next row. Today she's with makeup. I cannot recognize her. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next row. Hello. AUS. Yes. Hello. What is?
Hi, Sifu.
Yes.
Today is my Dharma friend bring me here to listen to your talk.
And who is your Dharma friend?
Wan Ning.
Wan Ning. Where's Wan Ning?
Peace.
Okay. Very good. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, let's see. Who else? Someone who has not appeared for a while. Maybe you want to say hello to everybody? Yes.
Yeah, so sorry, Sir.
How have you been?
Busy.
Busy, yeah.
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 That's why I'm like Jacob.
You're like Jacob.
I've been missing for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
But promoted the Amma.
Oh, I see. Congratulations.
Really sitting. So anyway, if I have time, condition is right, I'll be here.
Yeah.
No.
So as you can see, we treat the kids very well. So feel free to bring your grandson here, or grandchild.
Sure.
Is it a boy or girl?
The girl.
A girl. Just nice. Bring. Yeah.
She will with me.
Yes, yes. Very good to see you. Yeah, welcome.
So who's good man?
Yes. Okay, next. 现在不用旗鼓啊，现在不用旗鼓。等一下哈，等一下要旗鼓再找你。里面没有黄金。Okay, 来，next row. Let me see. On the far right, lady in purple. Have you introduced yourself before? And
Okay, this is my first time here. I brought here by my two sisters, Bi-Ling and Bi-Yan.
And you are B what?
Bi-Hong.
B Hong. Welcome, welcome. Wow. Are there? Wait. Who is the eldest?
I'm the eldest.
You are the eldest. Wow. So 3 sisters.
There are 4 sisters.
4 sisters. Where is the number 4?
Erjie.
Erjie.
Is Bihun. I think you have seen.
Bihun.
See you have.
I like bihun. Oh. I mean, it's in cha bihun. I like cha bihun. Okay, very good to see you. Welcome. So we have Bi-Yan, Bi-Ling, and you are Bi-Hong, and then we got Bihun. And Wen Long I know, yes. Wow, very good. And who do you bring today? Hello, husband. What's your name?
My name is Yolin Ho.
Yulin Ho.
This is my first trip, and good afternoon to everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Very good to see the whole family here. Okay, let me see who else. Okay, I think everybody else has introduced before. All right, very good. Welcome to SGC, where we have short puja, short puja, short meditation, and not so short Dhamma sharing. And our assistant co-teacher, give him a round of applause. Try not to push it down, not yet. Okay, so do you know the topic for today? Yes, what is the topic for today? Hungry ghosts with a question mark. Yes. Do you know why it's hungry? 你要骂脸哦？你要做什么？Yeah. OK。姐姐穿美美啊，今天。她不能也买你的账。Okay, now we continue. Yeah. Okay, you all just sit down. You all just help me look, okay? And if he is about to be crushed by something, then just say, yay! Okay. Just make sure that he's safe, lah. Yeah. And then meanwhile, let's just continue with our session. Yeah. Okay. So have you all started the series of prayers for 7 months? Yeah? Some of you have. How many of you celebrate the 7-month festival? 波浪啊，7月法会500分。哦，哎 ，Hello， 来看着我，不可以玩。不要笑他，我们也是一样。We're just like the child, you know. When we are not allowed to do what we want to do, we kick and struggle. Yeah. But as we grow up, we learn that doing that can sometimes make us vulnerable because we learn that if you let people know what you want, then people can use that to control you. So even when you are upset, it's okay. You know? Yeah. We learn to hide our emotions. Yeah. And appear to be okay. But inside, still not okay. Inside, there's a little girl or a little boy, either here or here, kicking and screaming, while outside, no problem. Yeah. You want to go off earlier, and your boss at 5 o'clock call you in for a meeting and tell you that you need to rush this out by tonight, and your boss asks you, is it okay? And inside, what? And outside, no problem, for the team. You can call on me, no problem. Why do we do this to ourselves, you know? I sometimes wonder, you know. Like, how many of you have been in this situation before? So few, huh? The rest of you never, something similar, where at work sometimes, you know, you are required to stay a bit later or come back during a weekend, or it happens. Know what to do? I've been sharing with some of the SGC members. They tell me about this predicament they face at work, and I keep telling them, if it cannot be done, don't do it. You know, if it's unreasonable, don't do it. Especially some of them says they want to quit, and I tell them, well, if you're going to quit, then don't do it. Why do you still have to put up with it? And you see, it's not about being lazy or something. Yeah, if it's reasonable, if it's your work, don't complain about job nature. Yeah, there are many things you can complain about life, about work. One of the things you can't complain about is job nature. Yeah, like a taxi driver or an airline pilot. A taxi driver cannot complain and tell you that, Sư Phụ, don't like my job. Why? I don't like driving. Which part of being a cab driver do you not understand? Yeah. Or let's go a bit, you know, more atas, like doctor. Yeah. Sư Phụ, I think I need to quit. I really can't stand my job anymore. Like, why? I don't like to wear the attire. I don't like to look at patients. You know, you're in the wrong line. There's nothing wrong with the job. Yeah. But there are many things you can complain about. Yeah. But sometimes you don't need to complain. If your boss make unreasonable demands, and if you maybe once a long time, once a year, twice a year, okay, you know, not that boss want it, but bopian, okay, you do it for the team. Yeah. But if it becomes a regular feature of your work and you allow it, yeah, if you keep on allowing yourself to do OT just because your boss never planned the schedule properly, then you are basically telling your boss saying, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, and your boss will just think that it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, today we're not here to talk about that. Talk about ghosts. Yeah. Hungry Ghost Festival. Yeah. Why is it called Hungry Ghost Festival? It has to do with the practice. This practice that started a long time ago. Yeah. From the Sutta, Ulampana Sutta. Yeah, the Ulampana Sutta. Have you all heard of the term Ulampana? How many of you have not heard of it? Raise like that. Don't raise like that. Okay, enough. Yeah. So, We either hear of this time period, the lunar calendar, 7 month, then we call it the 7-month festival, or we call it the Hungry Ghost Festival, or we call it 中元节. 中元节 is a Chinese festival, just like 清明节. And a lot of this festival has to do with the seasons. So the Chinese have a certain practice, but for Buddhism spread to China a long time ago, some thousand, maybe 500 to 800 years ago, some a very long time ago. So when Buddhism spread to China, a lot of the practices got assimilated into the Chinese culture. In particular, those practices pertaining filial piety. So this particular one is really about filial piety. In the Ulamana Sutta, it is said that there was a time when one of the Buddha's chief disciples. How many chief disciples did the Buddha have? 3. Well, the Buddha had many chief disciples. He had 2 chief disciples, the 2 top ones, Venerable Sariputra and Venerable Mahamoggallana. Beyond them, he also identified several others, and we usually talk about the 10 chief disciples. Now, Venerable Sariputra and Venerable Mahamoggallana, they were good friends. Best buddies. Some would say besties. Best friend forever. But not in that way. The 2 of them were so good that they had this thing about them. They were young rich kids. Not really kids, young adults. They were rich. They had very good background, and they would enjoy their time together. The 2 of them had many friends. How many friends do you have? Not Facebook friends, but real friends. How many friends? 10 and above? You all are sad people, huh? You all don't have 10 friends. You all have at least 10 friends, right? Okay. How about at least 20 friends? I mean, for a while, I'm like, we need to have more counseling sessions. How about 20 friends? 20 and above. How about when you go out for a movie, like, how many friends do you go out with? 5? Okay, 2. Who go out with like 2 friends for a movie? Raise your hand. Don't just nod. Raise. Okay, how many of you watch movies? Hey, you're bored. Hey, really? You're bukan here. You sing karaoke. What do y'all do? Come SGC. Say, Sư phụ, we come SGC. If you have SGC Monday to Sunday, we'll come every day. We basically have no life. After SGC, after you leave, we just park outside and wait for next week. No, I mean seriously. What do y'all do for hobby, for leisure? Go for lunch, go for shopping, hang out, talk about people. Different age have different hobby. Okay. Show of hands, how many of you go for movies at least maybe once a month? Or once, thereabout? Okay, once in a while? At least once in a while? At least means once a month is included? Okay. How about karaoke? How about go to like Zouk? Is Zouk still around? No more Zouk, huh? Still around, huh? Oh, still around. Okay. I don't think I've ever been to Zouk actually. As much as in Dhamma talk, I often talk about it. I'm not one of those chong type. I just stay at home, play computer games. But I watch a lot of movies. Yeah, so Venerable Sariputra and Venerable Mahamoggallana, they don't have movies to watch, they have plays. And because they are rich people, they all, any of you own cinemas? No. Yeah. Nowadays we have home entertainment system. Yeah, maybe 60-inch. Yeah, maybe 100-inch projector, whatever. So, you know, sometimes we watch. Last time we watched those period drama. Yeah, 家春秋. So at the opening scene, yeah, the family, rich family, then they were doing preparation for the celebration of the Akong Ama, and then they asked the theater people to come to the house to set up the tentage and then perform. Remember? Say yes. How many of you are lying? So, Venerable Mahamoggallana and Venerable Sariputra were like that. They were so rich, they don't just go anywhere to watch. They invite the troupe to perform for them. This is what they do. It is not that they cannot make it, nothing to do, then go and become a monk. So they were really, you know, up there, living their life. And when they invite the troupe to perform, it's not just the two of them with popcorn and coke and just, but they had grouped a huge number of friends. It is said that each of them had, I think, about 250 friends. Yeah. So the two of them together, maybe, I think is it 500 friends? So when they go out, it's a scene, you know. Yeah. You can imagine if they are alive today, when they go to Ion, wow, the whole Ion field, you know. So one day, they were having this celebration. They brought the troupe, performed, and the first day enjoyed themselves. Then they went back, rested. The next day they came again, enjoyed the show, and when they go back home, the two of them start to think. Now, back then they don't have WhatsApp. So they thought about it separately. Yeah? And the two of them had this thought, hey, we asked the troupe over to come and entertain us, to bring us joy and happiness, to make us laugh and, you know. But consider this, these troopers, these performers, they themselves are still subject to aging, sickness and death. They are still subject to suffering. How can someone who is subject to suffering be able to give us true happiness, lasting happiness, permanent happiness? They cannot possibly give us that if they themselves don't have it. Yeah? See, that's the difference, you know. For them, even when they are enjoying themselves, they don't just immerse into it, dive in and just get lost in it, you know. In the midst of this celebration, this entertainment, they are able to glean insight, wisdom, you know, and realize this fallacy of such pursuits. But because they don't have WhatsApp, they couldn't text each other. Yeah. And then they thought, what if I were to abandon this kind of pursuit and go forth and try to find a solution to this problem of suffering? Yeah. I mean, think about it. How many of us watching movies, going shopping, you know, having meal, catch up with friends would come to this realization? Yeah. So this is the context of these two persons who were to become the Buddha's chief disciple. And the next day, when they went to the same place, they wanted to tell each other that, I'm going to abandon this, you can continue. But because they're so tight, they're such good friends, the moment they arrived and they saw each other, one of them was like, I have something to tell you. And they said, yeah, I also have something to tell you. And so one of them basically shared his thoughts, and the other person is like, exactly, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, they're such good friends. Yeah. And so they decided, you know what, why don't we just go? And so they decided to, and they announced to all their friends, okay, all the expenses paid, you all can continue the entertainment. We are going off. Yeah, we're going to go and find a solution to suffering, to seek true happiness. And you know what happened to the friends? All the friends, who say No, the friends were like, well, without you, then what's the whole point? This is how close all their friends are with them. So when they left, the whole group of friends, a few hundred of them all left together, you know. Can you imagine? Yeah. And there I say so, it starts off with how you all do it. When some of you come for SGC, and you maybe listen to the teachings of the Buddha and you find that, yeah, this makes sense. And then you inspire your friends to come. Maybe you don't think, wow, Venerable Sariputra and Venerable Mahamoggallana inspire a few hundred friends. I inspire one of my sister. It is not easy to do so, you know. Yeah. A few more lives, you will inspire maybe tens of people. A few more lives, who knows, hundreds of people. For them, in their final life, a whole group of them left. Eventually, Venerable Sariputra met Venerable Asaji, and then through the conversation, he attained first fruit. Now, fast forward, the two of them went to see the Buddha, and separately, they attained enlightenment. Venerable Mahamoggallana, within 7 days, at the end of 7 days, he attained enlightenment. Venerable Sariputra, after 7 days. And so, years later, let me not fast forward so much. Now, the two of them, before meeting the Buddha, they had a teacher. Yeah, they had a teacher. So, the teacher, unfortunately, didn't want to join them because the teacher was concerned. The teacher was very elderly, very senior in the community among cultivators, ascetics. Yeah. So the teacher refused to join them. Yeah. Venerable Mahamoggallana developed what we call spiritual powers, psychic powers, if you will. Yeah. He was able to see beyond what the human eyes can see. He was able to hear beyond. He was able to do many things that humanly very rare, if not impossible. Yeah? But actually it's still humanly possible. It's just a matter of developing ourselves. So one of the things that Venerable Mahamoggallana, what he did was, when his mother passed away, you would think that the mother of two great arahants should be Buddhist. Yeah? Should be very devout Buddhist, and should be supporting Buddhism and so on. But it turned out that the two mothers of these two good friends, great arahants, they were not Buddhists. Venerable Sariputra's mother was a Brahmin lady, and she didn't believe in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Venerable Mahamoggallana's mother likewise. But Venerable Mahamoggallana's mother didn't just stop there. She even criticized the Triple Gem, disparaged the Triple Gem, slandered the Triple Gem, and say all kinds of things. Now, sometimes she's portrayed as a horrible person in this way. But I sometimes wonder, is it possible that it was perhaps because she was so, how should I say, attached to the son, you know. Now because of Buddhism, my son, my only son, left family, yeah, become a monk. And this is something that many Buddhists face, yeah. How many of you bring your children to the temple? Oh, how many of you have children, but you didn't bring them to the temple? Okay, don't raise up, very paiseh. And dare I say so, many times, for many Buddhist family, the fear is, if my son, if my daughter were to come to the temple too often and learn too much Dharma, they will run away and become monks and nuns. Don't laugh, I know. We all know. Yeah. But the truth is, statistically speaking, it's very difficult. It's very rare. It's very slim chance. If you kena, you can buy 40 tio piu. Harder than tio piu. Yeah. Because there's only less than 100 monks and nuns in Singapore. Yeah. There's about 1.5 to 1.6 million Buddhists in Singapore. You go and do the maths. Let's multiply the number of monastics by 2. 200 over. Doesn't make a difference. It's still 0.000 how many percent. So if your children, even heng heng sui sui, want to be a Buddhist, wow, xie heng. Not to mention become monks or nuns. So I suspect part of the reason could be, this is my speculation, that Venerable Mahamoggallana's mother was probably not too happy. Yeah? It is evident from Venerable Sariputra's mother. When Venerable Sariputra passed by their own house and get invited in for lunch dana. Sometimes we have lunch gathering here, and then you all see my parents here eating together, you know. But this was not the case for Venerable Sariputra or Venerable Mahamoggallana. When Venerable Sariputra visited the mother and have lunch there, the mother would actually say horrible things. Like, some people with a good family, with mountains of wealth, good food, good clothing, choose to abandon all this and eat cold food. Eat sour porridge. Oh, the mother says things like that. Yeah. Venerable Mahamoggallana's mother said even worse things. So it is said that when she passed away, she was reborn in a very painful state, yeah, in the state of the hungry ghost. And Venerable Mahamoggallana, being an arahant with psychic power, was able to see that. Think about it. How many times have we heard? Have you heard people, and sometimes maybe yourself, when our loved ones pass away, the number one question people have for monks and nuns is, Sifu, where are my parents now? Yeah, I tell you, this is the number one question people ask Sifu. Never ask me how to meditate, ask me where my mother is. And in a way, it's a beautiful thing, really. Yeah? Because on one hand, it's a beautiful thing. But on the other hand, sometimes I feel that sometimes it's a sad thing. Beautiful because it speaks of the love and piety, the devotion that that person has for the mother or father. And sometimes it's maybe an uncle or auntie, you know. Sometimes it's our grandparents. We want to know where they are. Not everybody has the ability like Venerable Mahamoggallana. But from this you can see something. Arahants are not robot, you know. Arahants are not, my mother has passed away, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. No. He was concerned about where the mother is. So if your son or daughter ordain and become monks or nuns, you have nothing to worry. They have you in their heart. If your son and daughter, wow, is very successful in life, become a CEO, maybe have no time to think about you. So Venerable Mahamoggallana, when his mother passed away, he was concerned. Where is his mother? For him, he don't have to ask the Buddha. He just enters samadhi, enters jhana, and then my alarm tell me to prepare to stop. Yeah, I know, I set the time earlier because you know how I always exceed time. So he used his psychic divine eye and he observed that, oh dear, my mother is reborn in the lower realms. And so with his psychic power, he went to find his mother, approached her, and saw her in this state of deprivation, suffering, with insatiable hunger. In Buddhism, we say that there are different states of existence. Yeah? Loosely speaking, or broadly speaking, we say there's the human and heavenly realm, which is more superior. Yeah? More superior in the sense that there's lesser suffering. Of course, in the human realm, we can see many people suffering as well. But relatively speaking, it's still lesser, milder, and intermittent compared to those in the lower realms. The lower realms refer to the three: hell, animal, and hungry ghosts. Yeah, these three lower realms. At a later stage, there's that the last section, which is about the asuras. Asuras is a very interesting category because it's kind of like between the heavenly and the animal realm. Yeah, some would say the asuras are something like demigods. Yeah, with certain merits of the heavenly beings, but without that heart of kindness. Yeah? For they are said to be easy to give in to anger, to jealousy, yeah? Easy to get frustrated and discontent, yeah? To be discontented. So, in terms of suffering, hungry ghosts is not the worst compared to Avicii hell, yeah? The hell where there's absolutely no interruption of suffering, but still no joke. And so when Venerable Mahamoggallana saw his own mother suffering in that state, he was filled with compassion. So the second thing I want to highlight here is, hello there, sumimasen. Yeah. 搞不好以前是这边的住持，他说凭什么我换了一个身体你就不让我上来？So when he saw his mother, he wanted to help her. Yeah, he wanted to relieve her of the suffering. Yeah, so with his psychic ability, he manifested food and drinks for her. Yeah, but when he offered to the mother, what happened? She was not able to consume it. It is said that it turned into flame. Yeah, the moment he put into the mouth, it turned into flame. Yeah. Now, when we read this text, sometimes it feels like, wow, quite extraordinary, quite incredible. But think about it. Sometimes ourselves, sometimes friends and family around us, when sometimes they are so overwhelmed by emotions, when they are so down or depressed, or so angry, you can offer them the best food. You can offer them their favorite food even. To them it's meaningless. And they may even just brush it away forcefully. Yeah. And even if they eat, they cannot enjoy it. Yeah. So in many ways, it is not so difficult to see that this is possible. Yeah. For in the Buddhist teaching, we say, this world is mind-made. Now, after much attempts, Venerable Mahamoggallana saw that it's in vain. Yeah? So he went to see the Buddha, and the Buddha advised him and told him, in this world, there are different powers at play. You have your psychic power, your spiritual ability, but that is insufficient to overcome the power of karma. And what is karma? Our action. Yeah? So, first thing, Arahants, enlightened ones, do not forsake their family, their friends. They are not devoid of emotions, of compassion. In fact, they have even stronger ones. Yeah? They will go and seek and try to help them. Yeah? They don't just say, told you right, Lama, last time tell you, 拜佛 don't want right, now you suffer. No. Yeah? Instead, with compassion, still try to help. Yeah, still trying to help. But the second thing is, when the karma is ripening, difficult, if not too late to help. You cannot overcome karma with psychic power. So then what did the Buddha say? The Buddha said, well, you can try doing offering to the Mahasangha, to the whole assembly of monks and nuns. And with that merit, extend it, dedicate that towards your mother. Yeah? And through the power of the triple gem, then your mother may get relief. Yeah? And this is what he did. And this started the practice of this Ulambana festival. The Ulambana practice. Yeah? Where offerings is made to the Mahasangha and they do some practices. Today, we seem to think, oh, the monks, they all come here and do chanting, and then you all do some offerings to pay them for their services. No, it's not payment. You must always remember, whenever you all invite monks or nuns, yeah, to do a service, they are doing it willingly. When they do it willingly, then it's virtuous. Yeah? Then there's merit in doing that. And when you do offering, whether it's robes, whether it's food, whether it's lodging, whether it's medicine, yeah? Or in modern context, sometimes you give the ang pao, yeah, to support them in their Dharma work. You do it voluntarily. Must remember, it is not in exchange for the service. If it's in exchange for service, then there's no merit in you giving. It becomes like, you pay for Uber. Yeah? And if the monk or nun chant with the mindset, oh, I chant, then you're going to give me $500. Or I chant, you give me $50. The amount is immaterial. But the moment the person have this thought, I chant for this money, there's no merit for him or her. The moment you give with this mindset, I give because you do this, I give you this money, then you are just making payment, fair and square, end of story, bo liao. So this is a very crucial point that we should consider. Yeah. And within this sutta, there is this nuance inside. Yeah. So this practice passed down over the centuries until today. Yeah. So when you attend some of this puja, you must consider, when you attend, don't just go and sign up and then pay $50 or $20 and then just outsource the service and then get people to chant and then you just go back home and watch TV. Go and join in the service. And why is that important? Because when we consider that they are doing a 法会, 做佛事, they are doing the act of liberation, which is what Buddhas do. Second notice. When you participate in the chanting, you are reciting words of truth. Remember that. Suttas, okay? All the sutras that you recite, these are records or accounts of the conversation that has happened 2,000 over years ago. Dialogue between the Buddha and his disciples. The Buddha's answer towards the questions that were raised. Yeah? Discourses. Utterance of truth. Now the trouble is, many times this utterance of truth is in a language that we don't understand. Yeah. For many of us, perhaps, when you recite the Chinese verses, is it easy to understand? Not so easy. How about the Heart Sutra just now? Not so easy, huh? So, Heart Sutra coming up, please sign up. Yeah. During the 7 months festival, there's usually the recitation of 地藏经. Yeah? 地藏经. So, this Bodhisattva is often associated with hell. Yeah, and it's a very interesting thing, you know. If you look at the media, you look at all the books, movies, and stories about ghosts, yeah, or hell. It is always about fear, about damnation. It's about pain and suffering. In Buddhism, there's mention about how they suffer. But the distinction here is, in Buddhism, we relate to ghosts or hungry ghosts not with fear, not with aversion, but with compassion. If you look at the suttas, all the references, yeah, references where there are ghosts, it is highlighting, they are in a pitiful state, they are in a woeful state, that they are suffering. And so the disciples who saw that will be filled with compassion, and they will go to see the Buddha and relate to the Buddha. And in some cases, ask the Buddha what can be done for them. In one or two places, however, there is the case of what we call like Pontianak. You know Pontianak? Hungry ghost? Pontianak? Oh, yes. Yeah. How any of you feeling it? So in the sutta, there was a case where the Sangha got disturbed. They moved into a certain place, and then, the ghosts there disturbed them. Yeah. So they got disturbed, they couldn't have good rest, and then, so they went to see the Buddha. And the Buddha, you know what the Buddha told them? The Buddha didn't say, 来, 师父出马.走. No, the Buddha didn't say that. The Buddha told them, this ghost, this peta, yeah, these beings who is residing there, the reason why they disturb you is because when you moved there, they felt threatened. They thought that you're going to drive them away. So they thought, let me do a preemptive strike. Let me disturb these monks so they will move away and leave us alone. Yeah, this is what the Buddha said. Yeah, so the Buddha told them, when you move in, did you radiate metta towards them? Oh, we didn't do that. How is that practice done? So the Buddha taught them, whenever you go to a new place that is not inhabited, you should radiate metta. Yeah? And in a way, it's very simple. When you enter a new place, just keep your mind pure and wholesome. Yeah? Don't think, wow, over here, new place, don't know got what thing here. Wow. Some people think, they invite monks to do house blessing, then with the water, go. Yeah. It's not like that. In Buddhism, we live in harmony with others. So the Buddha's advice was, when you go to a new place, wish them well. Yeah. You go there, you just recite this verse, Sabbe Satta Sukhita Hontu. If you want, you can download the whole Metta Sutta, Karaniyam Atakusalena, or if you want, you just read the English text. Same power. But you must read with heart. The other day on Facebook, I saw Japan, they invented this robot monk. Yeah? And the funeral service, if you invite a real monk, that is 2,200 or something. The robot monk is 450. So one student sent it to me and said, "Wow, Sifu, how going to be automated out, Right. So you see, the thing is, I feel that this reflects more on the state of Buddhism than a threat to anything. For that matter, to me, if something can be done by a robot or a machine, sure, why not? If doing that can allow more people to have access to more Dharma, why not? And that's why we put the recordings on YouTube, so that you all can just watch, when you cannot come. Yeah? You cannot it's in Singapore, there isn't so many of us to go around. Yeah, but back to chanting, Chinese, we have this saying, 念佛诵经不要有口无心. So when you are doing chanting of sutra, chanting of Buddha's name, don't just chant with your mouth, chant with your heart. You must have devotion, you must have dedication, you have mindfulness, you must have sincerity. Don't just Namo Pen Shi Shi Jia Mo Ni Fo, Namo Pen. Don't just chant. We can download from internet all kinds of versions. And so, if you recite the Metta Sutra, or you recite Ta Pei Zhou, or even Heart Sutra, you recite sincerely. Yeah? Not with fear, not with anger, not with the mindset, okay, I chant this, you'll go away. But with love, with care. When you read Di Zhang Jing, it is not to frighten people, it's to actually evoke compassion, number one. Number two is to remind us, these are the things to avoid. Because inside the sutra, it always talks about two parts, the result and the cause. Yeah. So the result is not just to frighten us, but to remind us, to help us evoke compassion towards those who are now in this state. And the path, which is the cause, is to remind us, avoid this. We want to avoid the result. We don't want to avoid the cause. 菩萨为果,为因, 众生为果. And we're afraid of the result. Painful results we are afraid. We are not afraid of doing the wrong things. I mean, we are not enlightened. Sometimes we still do the stupid things. So, when we attend the puja, try to read up beforehand. But you say, Sư父, 地藏法会, sometimes they have a whole week, some places 1 whole month, every night. Where got time? Once a year. Yeah, maybe you don't have the time, or even if you want to, maybe you do have other prior commitment. Yeah. So what can you do? At least attend one night or 2 nights. As many nights as you can. Yeah. Or if you attend SGC, then do dedication towards your departed relatives. It's until 3 o'clock. Hang on. So when you, sorry, just a second. Let me wrap up this part. So when you attend, let's say 地藏法会, or any of the, let's say 蒙山, Yan Kou, or you attend those, let's say 三昧水忏. Sometimes they do 三昧水忏 for the 7 months festival. Then what should you do? Before you attend the puja, just briefly read through. And try to just find one section that you connect with, and spend some time to reflect. If you don't understand, what must you do? Come and look for Sư父. Doesn't have to be this Sư父lah. Maybe you know other Sư父that you have been learning with. Then go and ask that Sư父. Doesn't matter. Okay. Reflect on that teaching, so that when you go for the puja, then you are not just trying to catch up. Because I know sometimes when you go for all this puja, right? Then initially, 如是我闻一是佛在舍卫国, it's still okay. Then later, 即数即故, then gone. And that's why the preparation work is important. You should go and read the head first, so that you familiarize yourself with the text. Then you can do the reflection. And sometimes even after you're reading through a few times, you still cannot catch up. How? It's okay. Just catch up as much as you can. And while you're kneeling there, or standing there, or sitting there, and you cannot catch up, then just find one part and read through. Don't waste your time and just keep on flipping, and then you're not doing anything. And then, what worse still? Mangzang. You get more frustrated, and then you're like, and then you're supposed to go there and make merit, and then you go there and make frustration. And don't waste your time like that. Okay? And don't have the mindset, oh, I never catch up, then my merit, oh, not 100%, only 33%. If you can just look at a few pages or a few verses and spend the 2 hours there reflecting on it, let me assure you, your merit is no lesser. In fact, if you can reflect and actually understand, and through that understanding, even make a very minor change in your life, your behavior, your mindset, I tell you that merit is much more. Much more. Yeah, so don't worry, okay? Yeah. So in this month of Ulaanbaatar festival, it's not about fear, it's not about taboo. You know, when I go to Manjusri Secondary School, the kids, you know what they ask me? Hey, Shifu, come and tell me a ghost story. Very cute, I tell you. Yeah, so I entertain them a bit, tell them some ghost stories. Real life ghost story. You see, all alive now. Talk about ghost story, all alive. But no ghost story for you. Yeah. So in between the ghost story, then I try to share a bit of the Dharma with them. Yeah. Because they are small kids. Yeah. You are big kids. Big kids don't need that. Yeah. So this month is really not about goals and, oh, wow, they educate me on the taboo. I didn't know there are so much taboo, you know. Wow. You tell me whether it's true. They tell me that, oh, Sifu, 7 months cannot cut your hair. Really? Cannot cut your nail. Huh? Luckily, they never say cannot bathe. All kinds of things is mind-boggling. And it's not that, they are old folks got a lot of superstition. Hey, young kids, no, secondary school kids, no, Sec 2, Sec 3 kids, no. Amazing. Just amazing. So, over the weekend, just yesterday, a group of us went to St. John's Island. Yeah. Have you been to St. John's Island? Got dirty or not? Huh? Yeah. So when we were preparing for the recce, some of them were like, wow, 7 months already leh. I still want to go to St. John's Island. The whole idea that ghosts only are free to roam around during the 7 months, that's a myth. Yeah. In Buddhism, ghosts are virtually everywhere. Oh, some of you tonight cannot sleep. Yeah, but most of them have enough trouble of their own to trouble you. Yeah, seriously. You think you are so special? Ghosts nothing better to do, come and disturb you. Yeah, usually, they don't spend time disturbing people. Yeah. Usually, it's because you all have some connection. So in the Buddhist practice, whether it's 7 months or not 7 months, we want to extend compassion towards them. So when you do your daily practices, it's considered, it has merits. Yeah? That means value. Merits means value. But in this case, this value, you cannot go sing-song to exchange for vegetables. Not this way. Yeah? This is a different kind of value. Yeah? The kind of value that doesn't feed the stomach, but touches the heart. That makes the person feel loved, makes the person feel cared, and can help the person break away from wrong ideas. When you eat the right food, it nourishes the body and maybe strengthens you to fight against viruses, bacteria. But how about the bacteria in the mind? How about the viruses in the mind? The kind of disturbances that cause us to agonize, to not be able to be free. When we do spiritual practices, it has merit. That kind of merit, that kind of value, that can transform people's mind. That's why we call it 度化. Yeah. It can transform. Yeah. So it is not the same, yeah, but it works on a different level. So during this period, you can especially take advantage of the availability of so many different pujas throughout the whole island, different centers. You can also do your practices yourself, yeah. Come for SGC. Or at home, when you meditate, yeah. Then after that, do dedication and wish for all beings to be well, yeah. And this month is also an emphasis on filial piety, yeah. Following the example of the great Moggallana, Maha Moggallana. Maha is great. Yeah. Why great? There were many Moggallana. Many of them had the same name. But they called him Maha Moggallana. Why? Because among all the Moggallana, he is the greatest. Why? Because he is an Arahant, perfectly free of defilements. And on top of that, among the Arahants, he was chief, number one in psychic power, number one in spiritual practice, in terms of having like those special power. Yeah. And while he has all these attributes, he didn't forget the kindness of the mother. Even though the mother was against him becoming a monk, even though the mother was criticizing Buddhism, but he didn't forsake him. Or rather, he didn't forsake her. And this is something that sometimes when we celebrate Ulaanbaatar festival, we kind of miss this out. Yeah, which is to learn from the enlightened ones, this value of gratitude, love and piety. And with that, we end today's sharing. Question and answer time. Yes. Yes. Where's the mic? Sogang. Yes.
So it means during this Qi right?
Yes.
We do the 地藏经 every 上中下有两个回向。Then after the whole thing, the 回向。Then after the whole thing, must I personally do 回向?
So, are you involved in the puja?
Yeah.
So when they are reciting the 回向, chanting the 回向, do you chant together?
Yeah.
Don't you have participated in the 回向already?
So I don't need to say I 回向 to who and who.
Okay. So, for example, when we are having this every week, then at the end, 师父 will lead you all to recite 愿消三障诸烦恼, right?
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I have yet to overcome, is this respiratory thing with the incense. Incense is supposed to purify the air, but it always makes me choke. Did we light the incense earlier today? We did, huh? The next time can push it further back. Amitabha. So, when we recite the dedication, it's what we call a general dedication. Yeah, and in a way that is sufficient. In a way, yeah, because when we recite that, it encompasses all sentient beings. But you'll notice that many times when some devotees, some of you all, write a slip or send me a text and make a request, then on top of that, I will also include a special dedication towards certain individuals or groups. Yeah, so it's okay, and in a way, it may be a good thing, yeah, for us to do that practice also. So after the general dedication, we can spend some time to quieten ourselves and reflect on the time and effort we have put in, and then make a sincere wish. Yeah, make a sincere wish and extend towards our loved ones, Yeah, and wish for them to be well and happy.
Invisible.
Welcome. So there's this other question that someone asked me before, which is that, so when we do this dedication for our departed ones, how long do we have to do it? After 1 year, after 2 years, should we still do the 超度法会? Yeah. So typically the 法会 is actually is usually directed towards those beings. 要抓就刚才在那边就抓了，不要在这边再抓。没关系啦，就让他走啦，让他自由吧。要抓就在那边就抓，不要来这边再抓嘛。你们都在那边，为什么不要在那边就抓？乖哈，哇，来就好，不要再拜了哈。So there's this question of are our parents or grandparents reborn in the hungry ghost realm? So this is a question which we hope the answer is no. Yeah. So. 飞喽！呀，记得在那边抱好。So in one of the sutta, the Buddha shared in this sutta called Mata Sutta. I've mentioned this many times, and I will continue to mention about it. This sutta, Mata. Mata is the Indian word for mother. And in this sutta, the Buddha mentions, we have been going through samsara through beginningless time. Since beginningless time, we've been going through life after life. So long we have been going through that you cannot find an individual who has never been your mother before, who has never been your father before, your brother before, your sister before. Beautiful message, beautiful teaching. A long time ago, I was exposed to Tibetan practices. In the Tibetan tradition, they have this saying, precious mother sentient beings. It basically means that to consider all sentient beings as your mother. Of course, you are not my mother, yeah. But to consider, yeah. It was years later that I come upon Mata Sutta that I realized, that teaching came from here, came from this sutta, from the Buddha's own teaching. Because while individually you are not my mother now, in some past life, you must have been my mother before. And to consider this link from the past and to be filled with gratitude and to try to serve, try to bring welfare and benefit, to bring happiness to each and every one of all sentient beings. And that being the case, then how about those in the hungry ghost realm? Even more so, isn't it? So while maybe our immediate parents and grandparents in this life, maybe they have done good things and they have been reborn as a human being or even in the heavenly realms, or perhaps already in Western Pure Land. Yeah, but there are still beings in the hungry ghost realm. And surely they would have been our mother or father in some distant past lives. We may have forgotten, but let's not forget to have gratitude. Yeah. And so when you participate in these pujas, go with this mindset. Yeah, not thinking, oh yeah, my mother must be suffering there. Doesn't have to be your immediate mother or father. Yeah, but to consider, whoever is suffering, they were once your mother. And to go beyond even hungry ghosts, in your day-to-day life, those people who are suffering in front of your eyes, they were once your father and mother. So with that mindset, then this practice is not just about the 7 months. It's not just about hungry ghosts. Yeah, it's about cultivating this practice of love and compassion for all sentient beings. And that's why Dizang Pusa is not Bodhisattva for hell. If you attend the puja, Dizang Pusa Pen Yuan Jing, his vow is to liberate all 6 realms. Yeah, but he has a special vow directed towards the hell beings. Yeah. 地狱不空，誓不成佛。我不入地狱，谁入地狱？ Yeah. Very different from most other culture. Yeah. In Buddhism, we don't forsake even those who have done horrible things that deserve to be in hell. Yeah. We say, yeah, this being has done things befitting very severe pain for a long time. But even for beings like that, we evoke compassion. So in our day-to-day life, when you meet people who annoy you, have compassion for them. A person who is in a good mood will not annoy people, you know. Yeah. A person who is happy won't wake up in the morning and say, this is my plan for the day. I'm going to go and disturb people. I'm going to go and quarrel with someone. Whoever come and quarrel with you, they must have been suffering for a while already, you know. Yeah. But easier said than done. Yeah. 师父在讲风凉话. Yeah. To be able to have that realization at that point in time when someone is quarreling with you, arguing with you, you need to really spend some serious time doing reflection, contemplation. Yeah. 闻思修. Just hearing it can be very moving and inspiring, but it's insufficient. You need to take this back, go back home. Don't spend 3 hours thinking about it. Later you go crazy. Just 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Yeah, so that you reset yourself emotionally and you prepare yourself. Yeah, nurture. It is like a pot of plant here. You know. Yeah, you fertilize it, prepare it, so that by the time when you encounter someone who is unreasonable, who is really very trying, then the response is not anger with anger, but compassion towards that person. Okay? And with that, I want to extend dedication towards those who are having much difficulties in Hong Kong. Hong Kong being a country that has frequent typhoon, they are much more adept at facing it, but still there are those who are, less privileged. And as much as they know what to do, they may not have the means to do it. Yeah, so let's keep them in our dedication and extend to them, wishing for them to have the support and conditions and the courage to face this difficult period. And for those who are suffering in the rest of the world, wishing for them to be free from pain and suffering. May they be well and happy. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。